now time for the Ray Longo Minute.
I want you to punch a hole in his fucking chest. That's what I want.
The Ray Longo Minute.
Starring Ray Longo. The John Anik and Kenny Florian podcast.
So while the man Ray Longo has become a parade coordinator in New York, Team Sarah Longo just continues to get it done in Las Vegas. If you don't follow Ray Longo MMA on Instagram, you missed the parade and the line of cars for the Georgian Merab Dvalishvili in advance of his big win this weekend. And it warmed my heart, man. You know, I know we have a lot of fun with your segment, but seeing you guys and seeing everybody in their cars supporting these athletes from afar, I know Kenny and I were pretty touched by that, and Merab obviously was as well.
Yeah, no, listen, man, I think I'm relegated down to a cheerleader now, so I have to do my part. I said,
Yeah.
all I'm missing is the pom-poms in a skirt. And I'll be right there, Kenny. That's the next thing that's coming, pom-poms in the skirt.
Hey, well, you realize now with this good luck streak, you're going to have to do it every single fight now.
Yeah, well, I tell you, don't give away any of the drama that's coming down the pipe. But yeah, I think you're right. I think at this point it's pretty easy to figure out. But no, I do feel like a parent. If one guy got it and another guy didn't, it would be a total disaster. So everybody, we got to show the love, man. We got a lot of love over here. We got to spread it out. So
And I see
more love, John and Kenny. More love.
That's right. And I see you're showing love for the great city of Boston, Massachusetts, the hub of the universe with your hat today. Can you tilt your head down a little bit? There you go. We like that. We like seeing New York guys wear Boston stuff because anyone who's listened to this show from episode 1 knows I used to give Ken Flo so much shit for wearing any clothing that said New York on it. So we appreciate that. All right, so let's get into this. So Merab Dvalishvili shows up. He was supposed to compete on the main card against Ray Borg, and Ray Borg was unable to make the walk. So he gets relegated to the prelims at a catch weight of 145 pounds against the super tough Gustavo Lopez. I mean, what an effort by that guy staying in the fight in defeat. But, bro, I mean, Merab, he's the king of the 10-8 round. Just reminds me a lot of Ricky Simone, just in terms of the overall striking and takedown output. It's just too much. It's almost too much to watch. I get tired watching him fight.
Yeah, he might remind you of Ricky Simone, but I think Simone's 20 takedowns behind him. And
yeah,
he's got
I'm
more,
sure.
And he's got more fights. So where does this guy end up in the takedown category in another 10 fights? Crazy.
Ken Flo, a lot of people feel like I'm pumping up Merab just because he's Longo's guy, which couldn't be further from the truth. What do your eyes tell you about Merab overall and his prospects at 135 pounds?
Well, he's clearly doing the work. I mean, you could see that. This is a guy who continues to improve, continues to look more comfortable in the octagon, and he's just letting everything fly. You see certain guys in the gym and they look phenomenal and they go out in the fight. You don't quite see everything that they usually show in training. You could see in Merab that this guy feels totally at home in the octagon. He's not afraid to lay it out on the line, and his conditioning and his pacing is going to be a lot, even for all those guys at 135 pounds who like to move a lot. Merab just seems to be energy-wise and conditioning-wise on another level.
Ray, I feel like if you're a bantamweight ranked between 10 and 15, you got to avoid this guy like the plague, man. I mean, what were your thoughts on his performance and overall, what do you think he can do damage-wise in this division?
Well, look, I think right now, look, here's what I say. And I'll say this even with Aljo, there's still room to grow, and that's what I love about it. They could still make improvements, and Merab definitely could. He's got a lot of things to tighten up, but I tell you, like Kenny said, his commitment is second to none, man. When he commits to a takedown, he commits to a freaking takedown. He's not afraid. He's already proven he'll die in the octagon with the Ricky Simone fight. So
right.
You're going to definitely have to kill this guy. You're either going to have to knock him out or he's going to keep coming. And he's got a pretty good chin because I see him in the gym. So he's a handful for anybody, but he's going to get better and better because there are things he could tighten up. Especially like even on the ground, even going for that. What was more like a catch wrestling, right, Kenny, with that neck cramp? I used to do that like 20 years ago, just crank a guy's neck from the judo position. And he tried to get the arm, which could work, but it's not one of the more sophisticated jiu-jitsu things. So I think that's where you see him when he gets a little more submission game savvy, like an Aljo. If he could get to that level, it would be unbelievable because he is going to get you down. And he's going to get you down, and then he's going to get you down again, and then he's going to get you down again. So the more chances he has when he tightens up that aspect of his game, he's going to be definitely a totally different animal. Because, again, he's fearless. And I think when you see Aljo hit the floor, what really makes him good is he believes in his jiu-jitsu, man. And he's like, again, it's really belief and commitment. And like what Merab does with the takedowns, Aljo's got when he hits the floor, man, you just see a different animal. He's just very, very comfortable, and he's a problem. So both guys, absolute great performances. And what I love is, again, there's room for improvement. They're willing to put the time in and improve. So both guys are just going to keep getting better and better.
Kenny, it seemed to me like later in the fight, Merab lost his proclivity for striking. It didn't seem like he wanted to strike late in the fight, Ray. And obviously when you're getting takedowns at will and doing a lot with them, I can understand that. Did you guys notice that at all? Did it seem like he just felt like later in the fight the takedown was too easy and he just went back to the well time and time again?
Yeah, listen, I think it was probably the easier path to victory, right? I mean, he knew he was so dominant with the takedowns. Yeah. Why would he risk it on the feet? And I don't know, Ray, what do you say
I was going to say that's basically it. I mean, the guy's only chance was technically standing up, and he was a big striker. So, look, he had a day. He got that fight on a day's notice. So why are you going to play games? Let's just get the victory and move on. And he found what was successful for him, and why change it unless he ran into problems. But he landed some pretty big strikes also. You know, he committed to a couple of good right hands. And but again, that guy's only chance was to get into a slugfest and maybe get Merab out of there. So on a day's notice, I think that was a great performance by both guys. That's not an easy task for that poor guy to come in and have to face him. And Merab thought he was facing Ray Borg, who that would have been a really good fight because Borg is really talented. With that being said, I hope all his personal problems are good because he seems like a cool dude. So I think he did what he had to do. I mean, he's there to fight. And, look, if you can't stop me from what I'm doing, I can impose my will on you. Why not do it? And he started to let go with some ground and pound a little bit. He had some really great shots, some great ground and pound. Yeah. So I think, again, if you look at the big picture, a day's notice, he went out there to help Aljo. He takes a fight. It's pretty crazy. What I mean? He basically did the same thing the other guy did. And, while he was here, we really used another guy a little more than we normally use Merab because of the height for the sand-taking fight. So it wasn't like he's always in shape. So that's not a way. He was still running the hill. He had no fight. He was running the hills with everybody.
Yeah, of course.
That's who he is. You know what I mean? Again, those hills are brutal. I'm going to put out a video. So everybody gets done with the hills. This was probably last year. And everybody's done. Everybody's panting. He put Sasaki on his back. And he ran up one more time and up and down with Sasaki on his back while everybody was gassed out. It's crazy. I mean, that's
unbelievable.
It's not. His work ethic is insane. I mean, sometimes he'll spar Aljo, and he'll spar 3 rounds before he spars him.
Yeah, I believe it.
Before. Yeah, so he just Aljo's like, this motherfucker. Look at him. Right? I go, I think this is an insult. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at. It's just, but he's that guy, and he just loves it. He loves it. So when you love to do the things you love to do, and you have a passion, it's not work, man. It is easy, and that always holds true. I know it's a cliche, but that's what you're looking at. Again, a guy that's grateful for everything in life, and just you could see, even by his interviews, how excited he was. He started naming people. He didn't want to forget one person. He just was he even threw Vellante in there, which I was like, Vellante? Where the hell did you pull that guy from?
What are we giving John Vellante?
He's just a good dude, man. That's what you're seeing. You could see it.
He's the heart and soul of the team. His nickname, The Machine, couldn't possibly be more appropriate. Print the shirts, ABC, always bet on cardio. And again, couldn't be happier for Merab Dvalishvili. And I do believe he deserved those 6 or 7 minutes we spent on him. Haters be damned. All right, so for Aljamain Sterling, right? And it looks like he's enjoying a few cocktails in Las Vegas, and power to him, because the notion that he would go to Abu Dhabi in some backup situation and try to prepare for July 11th. I mean, at this point, he's got to hope that Aldo and Jan stays together and he'll fight the winner, right? You're not going to try to do an abbreviated championship training camp now that you've earned the title shot, are you?
Well, you bring up a good point. I mean, originally I told him stay ready if that's what he wanted to do, because he had a training camp and it was a minute and a half. He's unmarked.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? You could enjoy yourself a little bit, but if you wanted to, if there was an opportunity to be seized and you felt like that was the timing, then I would do it. But like what you just said, made me think a little bit. Yeah, he did earn that shot. And I definitely wouldn't do anything I wasn't prepared for or felt good with, for sure, because he did earn it. And I go back to like even the Ferguson thing. I think Ferguson earned that fight with Khabib, and I just really wish we would have saw that. But you got to be careful now. Now you're at the top. There's money involved. And like, again, when you earn it, I think you could be a little careful once you get there.
Right.
You know, so that's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, good. All right. Anything else before we let you go? I do have a couple names for Merab's next opponent. I know you haven't given it much thought. You know, John Dodson is number 13 in the world. I think the Ricky Simone rematch has a lot of legs. But, you know, you saw Sugar Sean O'Malley has that number 15 next to his name. I don't think that's a matchup that they are going to put together. But I don't know. Maybe Dodson. What do you think about John Dodson?
Dodson's a tough out for anybody, man. Yeah. He's awkward. I'd rather see the rematch with Simone. I think Merab
I want to see that in the worst way.
Merab would love that. You know, he felt like, you know, he got cheated out of that. He put his heart and soul into that fight. He was 100% winning that fight. Hats off to Simone. He caught him in the guillotine. But even what you see with Merab now, he's not as reckless as he was in that fight. Go back and look at that fight, Ken.
Right.
He's jumping over him. He's so excited. He lost 10 positions in that fight. He's not going to do that again. He was
still winning the fight. So I think
still winning the fight as a Mad Hatter. Exactly. But if you look, he doesn't do that anymore. So, well, like, again, what I love about Merab is he does tighten up his game every fight. So he's only going to get better. Even if he lost this weekend, it would be nothing to him. He would just get right back in there, make the corrections, and move on. And that's why he's going to be dangerous moving forward, because some guys lose and they're destroyed. He's not going to do that. He's going to take it as a learning experience for real. It's not just a saying. For him, it does apply. So I love that.
Is Ricky ranked at this point?
He is not.
He's not. But I think, I mean, that's the only drawback, I guess. But it's I think a rematch that needs to happen. I'd love to see it.
I need to see it. I hope they don't give me any promos to read in the middle of that fight, because the output from those two guys is just absurd. I mean, you don't want to be a statistician for Ricky Simone or Merab. I can assure you.
I mean, that was a great fight the first time, and like Kenny just said, like, he was losing positions, he was still winning the fight. He was out of control. But before we forget, we got Matt Frevola fighting this week. I don't want to overlook the steamroller. We got one more to go.
We got Matt Frevola. He'll have Billy Q in his corner. He fights Frank the Crank Camacho. High-octane fight expected there at 155 pounds. Hey, last thing, though, before we let you go. I'd imagine you've given some thought to when you're going to hit the road again. I mean, I'm sitting here in South Florida. I've left a couple times. Our numbers now are all of a sudden starting to spike. My county is still in phase 1. We're by no means out of the woods domestically. Have you given any thought to when you might potentially fly to Vegas or corner somebody in the future?
You know, I was putting August 1st as the date. You know, originally it was like July, and then I don't know, man, dude. It's a mind fuck to me. I'm not really sure. Like, I've been doing a couple of privates now. I started again, and then I just got a text this morning from a male nurse saying, "Dude, I don't think that's good that you're holding bags." I mean, I'm getting tortured. I think because I think people. I'm not saying this. I'm not. I think people do give a shit about me, you know what I mean? Which is, you know, good, which is a good thing. But it's every time I think I'm ready to go and move forward, it's like, man, I don't know. You got to be careful of this. You got to be careful. I'm not even sure anymore what I'm doing. I'm telling you, I'm confused.
Right.
I lightened up a little bit, which is not good either, because I got to, you know, I was diligent at the beginning, but, you know, the more comfortable you get with stuff, you start to loosen up a bit. So I don't know. I mean, I'm saying August 1st, but. You know, then somebody will say, "Is it worth the risk?" I go, "What's the risk? What's the risk? No, that you're dead." You know, so,
right.
I mean, that's the problem. Like, if I tell you right now, if I'm your age, I would have been at all. I would have been at all those fights. There's no question in my mind. You know, so
Well, you look great. Sun splashed. I mean, not a gray hair on the head. I mean, the head. I have to shave my head every 5 days because it's all fucking white. And then I come and look at you guys, and I can't find a gray hair on either one of your heads.
Can you see that? There's a couple in there.
A couple in there.
I cut them out.
I heard Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega is jealous of Ray Longo's locks.
Really?
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. But you know.
Hey, TJ. No, you don't have to put that last caveat in. Just
So-
jealous of my
You
locks.
got me.
Leave it
You
at
got
that.
All right.
All right, Ray. Well, congrats on a big win. We wish all the best to Matt the Steamroller Frivola. Maybe his father Sal the Bulldozer will be in his corner. You never know.
I gotta tell you, we got big things planned for Big Sal. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Stay
All right.
tuned. Join
All
us.
right.
Follow me on Instagram. We got big things for Big Sal coming up.
All right, at Ray Longo MMA. Hey, you still doing that sidebar podcast too? You still got your own podcast going, or just this one for now?
Oh, we're just doing this one, John. That's
Attaboy.
a story for another time.
I mean, I love myself some Steve Maraboli, but you know where your bread is buttered. All right, Ray, we got to keep this thing moving. But great to see you
I'm going for
as
the
always.
short money, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, right.
Take it easy.
There he
Hats off
is.
to Billy Buckner. Let's go. Take it.
Oh, God,
Oh,
love
is that
you.
bad? Oh, I'm sorry.